for you right this morning. So let's give a big Orange County Fair welcome to the Flower Chef, Carly Cylinder.
Thank you so much. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Well, happy Saturday, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. This is so exciting to be here. We're going to have a flower design competition coming up next, so be sure to stick around for that. And we have some flower crowns in the back that Lauren is selling for $5. So today I'm going to show you a technique. This is the first chapter in my book called The Flower Chef. And the book is all designs that you can make in your own kitchen using everyday flowers. So it's all the techniques and tips and tricks that you might need. So the technique I'm showing today is called spiraling. Spiraling is the technique of how you would make a bouquet, whether it's a wedding bouquet or if you've ever been to Fisherman's Wharf in Seattle, you'll see the women spiraling all the bouquets. And the reason we do that is because it makes a round shape. It also makes it really fast to arrange. So once you get this technique down, you can arrange any type of flower, whether you want to make a wildflower bouquet or a traditional rose bouquet. So the simplest way to practice this technique is with roses, and that's just because they're hardy. They have a hardy stem, it has a round shape, and it's easiest to work with. So if you're practicing at home, I would suggest getting a dozen to 2 dozen. You can go to your farmer's market or Trader Joe's or wherever you shop and pick up a dozen. So when I test for freshness for roses, you sometimes can't tell just by sight because some roses will be super big and then stay that way for a week, whereas other roses will be really closed and then they just never open at all. I'm sure you guys have seen this when you bought flowers. So what I do is I just take my hand and I give it a pat on the top, and the flowers, can everyone see that? Kind of short, so I don't know if you can all see that. So I just give it a pat on the top to see if it's firm. So the flowers should be firm, that means they're fresh. If it's softer, then it's older, and that's a good way to test the flowers out. I do this for other flowers like dahlias or even hydrangeas, but we have oil in our hands, and that's what turns flowers brown. So just be careful not to touch it too much. I just give it a little bit of a light pat. So to spiral, we're using these for the competition. So normally I would take off all the greenery. I can just pull it down or use my thumb to pluck it off. There's a tool called a rose stripper. I don't know if anyone's seen it. You just take it and it'll strip it right off. If I was at home, sometimes I use a steak knife and I'll just kind of scrape it along the bottom. So I would remove all of the greenery, but I'm not going to do this right now just because we are using these later. So just pretend. Okay. So who here has heard of the spiraling technique before? 1, 2, I think you must be the competitors. Yes? Okay. So, all right, for everyone else, what you're going to do is you're going to take the first stem and I place it in my hand. I'm holding my hand round. A lot of people will kind of squeeze like this, but that's not what you want to do. You want to hold it round. And I'm placing the stem at an angle in my hand. And the faster you do this, the easier it is. So it's definitely best in all flower arranging, whether you're spiraling or making arrangement, to work fast because the flowers will help balance each other up and down. So I'm going to add the next stem. Can everyone see? Yeah, okay. So I'm adding the next one at an angle on top. And I'll continue doing that. So I'm adding it on top at an angle in the same direction. You're not going to see a shape until you add about like 6 or 8. Now it doesn't matter if I'm adding it over here or over here, just as long as I'm staying on top and going at the same angle. The reason I'm doing this is eventually I'm going to squeeze all the stems down, and if I had one going the other direction, it would snap off this stem. Also, when you're taping it, if you were to make it for a wedding bouquet, it would not be smooth. So that's the reason we do that. you're working alone, which most of us do, you can stand in front of a mirror and hold it out in front of the mirror just to see what it looks like. If you're working with a person, then you can just ask someone if there's a hole where you should put it. I'm going to just continue adding. And then after I'm done, so I think that's pretty round, right? After I'm done, I'll just go up and pull out any flowers that have fallen down. So this is a very traditional bouquet. If you want to add in greenery or a more prominent flower, more expensive flower, I pull those through because it's very hard to get the exact placement of flowers when you're spiraling. If I was using a bunch of different varieties, it would just be hard to get it. So for those types of flowers, I'm using, just to show for the demo here, this is hypericum. It's also called coffee bean because sometimes it smells like coffee bean. It comes in like a reddish brown and also a white. So I just find the area, the section I want, and I will put the stem through and then through the bottom. And that way I can get the exact placement of what I want. Now if you secure the bouquet at the top, of course it'll stay, you know, this is a very modern traditional bouquet, but if you wanted something a bit more rustic, you could secure it, sorry, in the middle and kind of thin it out. Now, if I was using a vase that was tall and narrow, sometimes it's hard to get all of the stems in if you're just arranging. In that case, I would spiral it and then drop it in. Otherwise, I would probably use a grid or another technique. So that's definitely how to spiral. Does anyone have any questions on that? No? Are you going to all go home and practice spiraling? Yes? I'll show you, I had an older, or one that felt softer. I'll show you how to reflex a rose. Has anyone heard of that? Reflexing?